Hello, family. My name is Black Feniks, the owner of Hog on Welding. And I was asked, how did I get my name? And why do I say my name is the definition of how our people, the black culture, the African American or the black native will rise? I'm going to tell you why. When I was in prison during my 10-year sentence from 16 to 26, during the time when I was studying to get my GED, I had a gentleman who I guess he looked up to me or just admired the fact that I was really studying real hard to get my GED. And he actually graduated high school. I think he was in college, taking college courses and things by that time, I believe. So he was always in the dictionary reading and coming up with words. And me and him ended up forming a good relationship. And this gentleman name was Roddy. He was from Newport, Arkansas. Good partner of mine, man. We did a lot of time together, a lot of talking. You know what I mean? And we used to challenge one another every day with a new word. Like we'll come up with a new word, and a lot of times the words wasn't real complicated. It was just words we wasn't familiar with that we wanted to bring into our vocabulary. So we can start talking more sensible. You know what I mean? And I remember at that time I had made a vow when I was 18. So when I was 18, I stopped cussing. Now I didn't stop cussing just because I thought I was super Christian or something like that. Nah, I just wanted to challenge myself with other words. So I stopped for years, you know what I mean? And then, I cuss now, you know what I mean? But I stopped for that time so I can use different words so I can be able to address the situation differently. So I really wanted to educate myself. Well, while I was on this journey of getting my GED, my partner Roddy, um, he noticed it in me. So he ran across the word Phoenix, and he ran across the definition of it and what it actually meant. And he was amazed by it. I never forget because he came to me. He was like, "Hey, Joe, check this out." I'm like, "Man, what's up?" And at that time, actually, he didn't call me Joe. He called me Slice because at that time, that's what everybody called me. In prison, my name was Slice G. So a lot of people called me Slice G. You know what I mean? And I actually got the name Slice from the streets. You know what I mean? Before I left, that was like the name I picked growing up. It was they called me Slice, and it was like a rap name. You know what I mean? And just like a hood name, everybody picked their little names, and my name was Slice. You know what I mean? Because I had a cousin, an older cousin that I respected, and he rapped, and I can't remember what his name was, but he had a dope name. And I was like, man, I need to come up with something dope. And I was like, Slice, yeah, I'm gonna call my name Slice. You know what I mean? So, and I never forget, so people called me Slice. And when I got to prison, you know what I'm saying? Growing up being a gangster, when I was in prison, they added the G to my name and started calling me Slice G. So everybody called me Slice G. Like, hey man, what's up, Slice G? So that's just what it was. You know what I mean? So that's how they greeted you. You know what I mean? If you was a gangster. So um, that just how the process went. But needless to say, while I was in there studying for my GED at this time, I had stopped cussing, and Roddy ran across the word Phoenix. And I remember him saying, "Man, check this definition out, man." So he had a concordance, I believe. So we went kind of in depth on the definition, like we really like jumped into it and seen what it meant as far as the bird, the Egyptian bird, burning itself up, consuming itself up with ashes, and 500 years plus later, it risen out of those same ashes that it consumed itself to live another 500 plus years, you know. And it's talked about the resurrection, meaning resurrection, rising from one old self to new self. And he brought it to me because he was like, man, Slice, this you. He was like, you consume yourself in the streets, gang banging, not knowing no better, just doing whatever, robbing, and then now you in prison and I see you studying hard to get your education, you changing. You like, man, you Phoenix. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start calling you Black Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? I never forget it. And from that day on, I just took it. I was like, I'm Black Phoenix. I'm rising. You know what I mean? Like I got it. And as time went, I learned more and more and more about the name. And I embraced it more and more because I started to change. Like I went from getting my GED. And after I got my GED, I was able to jump in Votech and get combination of welding and stick, MIG, and TIG in four positions. So I was able to go from that. And then I went to college while I was in prison still. and took small business management. You know what I mean? So I took that to get the education, and then I took a lot of different programs that they had to offer. Man, if they had to offer something that that I felt like that could benefit me and my family, I took parenting, I took life skills, I took AA, I took NA, and I wasn't even a drug addict, but I wanted the information. You know what I mean? I took all the programs that they had that you could take. You know what I mean? I took it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to really change my mentality, and I stayed in tune with what was going on in the world, not as far as the, I kept on the latest fashion and stuff like that, but I kept on with how things were changing, technology, phones, business. Like I was into that type of stuff. Those the magazines that I check out in the library. Other people look at this, I'll be like, I want to see how the world changing, what's going on. By the time I get out, I got to do 10 years. I went in, I got locked incarcerated in 96, and I didn't get out to 2006. So I'm like, man, I need to keep up with what's going on. So that was my goal while I was in there, man, constantly learning. And I remember me getting out, a cousin of mine, after, he got a chance to meet me, he was like, man, he said, man, I couldn't even tell you ever even went to prison. He was like, man, just to hold a conversation with you, said, man, most guys, they don't come out like that. And actually, a friend of his got out recently, and he was like, man, my partner, man, bro, I thought, he'll be, kind of tight. He said, man, that time messed him up, and it does to some people. But I think it's all based on how you carry yourself, and what the individual want to do. And also, it's in your purpose, it's in who you are, in your DNA to survive. So some people give up easily, you know what I mean? And by doing that, they meet a demise sooner, or they do things foolishly and they create their own demise. You see what I'm saying? So I just learned to grow and to embrace who I was, being a dark skinned African American, being coming to prison, not being able to read because I was illiterate. I learned, I was good at, I could count, I was good at math, you know what I mean? But reading and writing, it was just kind of, that wasn't my thing at all. But I learned and embraced that. And over the time, I got better and better and better. But I wouldn't let me not knowing keep me from doing it. And I think that that's how our people is going to rise now, like educating ourselves on financial literacy, educating ourselves on Black Lives Matter for real, like really knowing the history and how our people been fighting this and been holding up signs and been doing this same protest since the 1950s, since we got out of slavery, you know what I mean? So we just need to just come together more, I feel, to embrace who we are. It's like at one time before the segregation, and I want to talk about segregation just for a little bit because I respect Malcolm X. I love Brother X, and I love Brother King. I love Dr. King. So I want to say two things about them. um, King did some amazing stuff for our people, but before we got segregated, segregation ended, our black businesses was booming. Uh, Black Wall Street was booming in Tulsa. We had a lot of different stuff that was going on, and it seemed like once that came, it's like we stopped shopping with our people. A lot of black businesses just went out. It's like our people, like we wanted to be accepted so bad. We was willing to do whatever we could to get their jobs, to get their positions at their banks or at their Marines or their armies. Like we did a lot of stuff trying to fit in with them, and we forgot about our people. Like we forgot about our people in so much to speak. I mean, unconsciously it seems, you know what I mean? And a lot of people didn't, but it seemed like the mass did. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, what happened? And then it seems that Dr. King recognized this before he passed, because if you check out one of his last speeches, um, he was talking about how he felt he had put his people in a burning house. Like we've been sawed up and getting into the situation that we're not going to be able to grow like we want to go, because in order for a people to grow, especially in America, we got to have finances. We got to have finances. We got to own something. We got to have. It's crazy because we would say that Atlanta is the black mecca. I mean, there's a lot of black businesses in Atlanta, and I do not knock that, but where can you go in other places where it's like that same thing, like Little China and every place this is so and so, this, where do we have ours like that at? Think about it, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's what we need to do. not just in one area. We need to do it in multiple areas, areas where we can protect our own education, food, grocery stores. Man, I can't tell you. Like I went to I was riding around and I went to a center where I seen it was a Spanish market, and man, they had their own grocery stores. They had I'm talking about the cars from home supplies, everything you could think that you might need from personal. They had it and they owned it, and everybody had their own little store. Like literally, I was like, damn, this is neat. We need to do that. Like everything from car repairs to fixing ACs to furniture to food. You know what I mean? Like they had all the necessities. So I feel like that's what we need to do. We as the Black Phoenix, you know what I mean? Because I embrace the name, but I feel like our people, that's what we are. Once we rising now with this movement and everybody is really realizing that, hey man, we got to stop this brutality. We got to stop killing one another. We got to stop. We got to stop allowing the justice system to just murder us, and the police are just out there murderers. You know what I mean? So I feel like us taking that role as the Black Phoenix, we just rising. You know what I mean? And we're rising from the ashes where we destroyed ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we put ourselves in situations where once given the opportunity, we tend to do something else with it. And it is what it is. A lot of our celebrities did it. They got the check and forgot about us. You know what I mean? And even now, you'll see them saying certain stuff that'll really rub you wrong. You're like, why would you say something like that? Why would you still say that all lives matter? Because you're trying to protect that white check you got. You know what I'm saying? You getting paid by them, so you don't want to offend them. It's not about offending anyone. Standing up, being pro-black is not offending anyone. You're not offending anyone by saying, "Hey, this is who I am. I am this. I'm a black man. I'm a black woman. I'm a black queen. I'm a black king. These are our black children." We are not offending anyone by standing on our culture. You don't say that to the natives. You don't say that to the foreigners. You don't say that to those who come over here and get their businesses and small businesses and corporations going. But why we can't do that for us? So that's why I feel like this movement right now, we are the Black Phoenix. Like we are rising now because even though we shunned our people, now we are rising up to lift our people up again. And it's not about no hate. We don't hate anyone. Being pro-black is not anti-white. I want to make sure I say that again. Being pro-black is not being anti-white. We ain't out here. We ain't have nothing against those who understand that we just trying to protect ours, just like you want to protect yours. That's it. You know what I mean? So to those that stand with that, stand with that, man. Yes, we know that all lives matters. But right now we are talking about Black Lives Matter because it does. And to me personally, if you would say that all lives matter in a situation like this, when this situation is going, that just let me know that you chose that side. You being biased. You know what I mean? Because you're not under attack. You know, you don't have to worry about your little ones and your loved ones being missing or someone taking advantage of them or the cops mistaking them for someone else. You don't have to worry about that. So I just feel like we are Black Phoenix. We are rising now. We are waking up. We are actually coming into consciousness now. We are realizing that no, we are not angry. We are conscious. You know what I mean? So I just feel like right now we're rising. And I feel like it's our time to actually embrace who we are. And by me just, having a title, that's something that I had from past. It wasn't for this movement. You know what I mean? It was for just my personal growth. But now I'm seeing a bigger picture as time goes on, over 10 years later, you know what I mean? I'm seeing the light now that this is our movement, our people, literally our people. This is our movement. You know what I mean? So I embrace the name strongly now. And I know that all lives matter, like I say, but right now Black Lives Matters, and I'm standing with my people. And I know that we can rise. You know what I mean? As a black welding instructor, I want to give you the game the best I can. I want to help you the best I can with my consultations. I want it to be worth every penny. When coming to the schools, I want to be worth every penny. Getting any products from us, from me. You know what I mean? I want you to feel good about spending your money with me and knowing that, okay, I'm just not spending my money with this. I'm doing this. You see what I'm saying? And the same thing, because I'm gonna spend my money with my people, and I understand that sometimes we have to charge certain prices a little higher because the way that the system is set up, like it's set up so that way, it's so hard for us to get the merch and the commerce and for us to do things that we need to do. I get it. I don't care. I'm supporting you anyway. Let's figure this out, man. You know what I mean? We support everybody, every brand, every clothing. Let's support our own clothing. Let's support our own people. You know, Master P got his shoes out. Let's support him and his shoes. Let's support him and his noodles. You know what I mean? Let's support him and his chemicals, household supplies. You know, come on, man. Let's support our people. Our people got things going on. Let's support them. You know what I mean? Everybody got somebody in their community that they know that's authentic, that's just real, that's not trying to step on no one, not trying to belittle no one, not trying to beat you. You know what I mean? Just trying to feed their families. We need to try to start building some financial wealth, some education for our people so that way we can take them to the next level. Now is the time. Everyone is standing. It's just time for you to make your stand personally and like do what you have to do. You know what I mean? But I embrace the name Black Phoenix because I rose from my ashes. Now we are rising from ours. Hold on.